Oscar nominated for Best Documentary Feature is The Eternal Memory. This is available on Paramount Plus with audio description. I know, right? I didn't even really know what this thing was until it got nominated. And it's just been sitting casually, quietly on Paramount Plus, just chilling, just hanging out, doing its thing with audio description. And it's actually even more of a win because the film is not originally in the English language. So it's also a foreign language film that has audio description. And it's a documentary. I mean, wow. Like, let that wash over you for a minute. I mean, there's so much irony in this. I was like, I can't believe this has audio description. Oh my God. Like, the whole time, I was like, how does this have Disney Plus keeps releasing documentaries for Oscar consideration that don't have audio description. And, other Oscar nominees this year, like Four Daughters, doesn't have audio description. Even tried to reach out to Kino. They didn't even bother responding. They were just like, nah, we don't know what that is. Let the blind people fend for themselves. And the hilarious thing is this is produced by Pablo Larraín. Yeah, that Pablo Larraín. The one who has El Conde currently in consideration for Best Cinematography, courtesy of the Oscar campaign from Netflix, which saw fit to push forward the movie, which also, guess what, does not have audio description. So this whole thing is like, the fact that The Eternal Memory is accessible to blind people is just phenomenal. I didn't love the movie, but I love the fact that it's accessible to me. It does get like slight bonus points. I'm gonna be honest. I have such like a favorable attitude towards this film where I'm just like, and I shouldn't have to. Technically, like everything should have audio description, and I shouldn't be like, oh, thank God. Oh, that feeling that you have when you think you're running late, but you're actually like 5 minutes early, and somehow you beat everybody else. That's kind of the feeling that I have here with this film is, oh my God, I can't believe it. I made it. Oh, I'm early. Oh, okay. Oh, well, that's nice. I was worried about nothing. The Eternal Memory is actually a sort of like a love letter documentary between a wife and her husband who have been married for 25 years. And they are facing an insurmountable future as he has been diagnosed with Alzheimer's. And the road ahead that lies is a murky one because they don't know what he's going to remember, what he's going to lose. Will he even recognize his wife? How much is going to slip away? And by having that camera there, I think the original intention was to continue to document life as it was, so that way he always had something to watch and review. And out of that spiraled the documentary. I don't actually think the initial intention behind this, when they started filming, was we should make a documentary. But somewhere along the way, they realized what was happening was sort of a realistic portrayal of what happens to many people when a loved one is diagnosed with Alzheimer's and their memory starts fading and kind of like turning on and off. That's what Alzheimer's is. You may be there 1 minute and you may not be there the next minute. And he has those moments in this film, and he comes and goes and gets confused, and she always tries to bring him back. It's like watching the last scene of The Notebook extended over about an hour and a half. This movie's not very long. It's about 90 minutes. You should be able to get through it. It is, again, up for consideration for Best Documentary Feature, so you have every reason to watch this film. And it's on Paramount Plus right now. If you subscribe to Paramount Plus, you already have access to it, and it has audio description. Everything is translated. I recognize the fact that they're not speaking English and that everything was dubbed, that they were saying. I also know that this film has an original language title too, so it's definitely from another country. But here we get to know it as The Eternal Memory. We get to watch two people who love each other struggle with Alzheimer's, which is not necessarily the happiest of all films. I completely understand that, and for a lot of people this can be really scary, especially if you face this sort of future yourself. So I can understand why the Oscars resonated with this, and the realism behind it, the fact that it really doesn't feel like a film crew heard about these people and swooped in and were like intrusive on their lives and were like, oh, we heard one of you has Alzheimer's, could we film you? It just kind of feels like something that organically happened on its own, and we're just sort of watching like the private videos of someone who has decided to lend their lives to us as sort of an example of life, of what this could look like, sort of like in a weird way, sort of like advocacy for continued research on Alzheimer's. Continuing to put a face to Alzheimer's is really important. It's very interesting that this documentary was up against something like Still, a Michael J. Fox story, which basically does the same thing, but for Parkinson's. Michael J. Fox has been out there openly speaking about Parkinson's and letting people see him have Parkinson's for so long now, so that people understand what Parkinson's is. And he lets a camera follow him around and watch him stumble and, fall and pick himself back up and over and over throughout the course of Still, even showing, his bad days, and not just like happy good times. It wasn't just like a retrospective. There was definitely a feature of, this is what it's like for me right now. And there's so much of that in The Eternal Memory. It's just over a different span of time. So you get to see him more when he has more of his mind still intact and Alzheimer's hasn't ravaged it yet. And then progressively, there are more and more incidents where he doesn't remember or doesn't know, and she gets more and more frustrated and saddened by the whole thing. But it's interesting how the film ends. It's actually kind of beautiful, because I kind of felt like this could be anybody's tale, and they ended it in a way that was very reminiscent of something else. And to see the fact that this was probably real for them was kind of just the icing on a cake that was like, the cake was fine, like a store-bought cake, you know what I'm saying? Like, it was fine. It's the Walmart bakery makes some good cake. They know how to make cake. But damn that icing now. Like somebody put some extra special on that. That's kind of how I felt about the ending. Like right at the end, she comes in and with something that will help him remember. And I was reminded immediately of something like everyone will be. Likely everyone will be like, oh my God, it's the real life this. And I don't think she was going for that at all. I don't think in this, Central South American country, I can't remember which country they're in. I'm sorry. It's somewhere down there. That there was any given thought to, wow, we should do this for symbolism. But the fact that it happened kind of just made me go, oh, wow, look at that. It really does happen. Things like that. Anyway, Eternal Memories out there for you. The audio description is fine. Honestly, this is not a terribly difficult movie to audio describe. I think it was described by like Caption Max or something like that. Um, it didn't give the name of the narrator, so I was less interested. To be totally honest, it was just the name of the company. And I was actually sort of surprised that it gave the name at all, because most of the time with movies, Paramount Plus pushes me into something else as soon as it hits credits or very shortly after. That and Peacock are pretty good about getting me out of credits and not letting me watch them. So I was surprised that it was right there, and but it didn't give me a narrator. So or who wrote the narration. It's fine. It's not really an intrusive audio description. It doesn't really feel like it feels very neutral. This film feels like something that if you were getting your start on audio description, this is kind of the film you might want to start with a script, and either as the writer or as a narrator, because yeah, it's not terribly difficult. Even in their lives, this one was so focused on this couple. There are not like a bajillion people that come in and out of this film. This isn't a talking head documentary where like a bunch of people come in and comment and I'm like, this is what's happening with these people right now, and this is my opinion on their life. Let me try to explain this in scientific terms to you so that you can understand a little bit better. No, nothing like that. No, this is just feels like lost footage, home video captured, like things we shouldn't be seeing behind closed doors, but we are. Somebody has let us into their home, and that's what the film is. There was just a giant amount of documentaries this year. This one is fine. It's not my favorite documentary of the year. I struggle with the fact that there are documentaries that I have seen that I would have rather seen in this slot. So that definitely does work against it a little bit. I think there are documentaries that were more important that were left off the list. Also documentaries that I think really had more of an impactful story to them also, that were left off this list. So it's hard to be too totally excited about this, but I get why the documentary branch liked it. And if Pablo Larraín wants audio description on this, but not on his own film, I don't know. I really just, Pablo, what's up? What are you doing here? Anyway, but thanks to Paramount Plus and whoever else down the food chain for putting audio description on this documentary feature nominee. And I'm going to give The Eternal Memory a B-. Yeah, it would still be, seems low, but it still would be like a fresh rating for me on the tomato meter. So for anybody who needs tomatoes thrown at them. Anyway, that's it for me. I do have a website, macmovieguy.com, so please click that like and subscribe, because I can't say the word subscribe, so obviously I need help to get there. I also X, Threads, or Instagram at MacTheMovieGuy. You can go to the audio description project, adp.acb.org. It'll let you know what has audio description and where you can watch it. And you can go to the ADNA.org. That's the ADNA.org. It'll let you know who's narrating your favorite films and television series. That's it for me today. I will watch something else and see you guys on the other side.